Hey, what's going on, guys? It's LuceyGoosey or Kyle, and welcome to a draft analysis here on the channel. I have tried to record this thing, I think, 3 times now. This is my third. The first 2, I just feel like they were really long, and they didn't really explain a lot of the draft. They actually just explained what I hope to do this season. So I'm going to go over everything really quickly. I'm going to try to get this done in less than 20 minutes. Hopefully, it's not a super long video. But anyways, let me introduce the league to you guys first. This is the PSBL. It's actually Season 3 of the PSBL, so if you're wondering where Season 1 and 2 were, I was actually in them, but I didn't upload them. For Season 1, I didn't draft a team. I actually took over a team about, I think, 8 weeks into the season, or 7 weeks into the season. The team hadn't won a game yet, or actually, no, 6 weeks into the season, because I remember I was 0-6 when I took over the team. The team hadn't won any games yet, and I made some free agent transactions. I picked up a couple Pokemon I wanted to learn how to use, like Vikavolt. I remember Salazzle's on my team, Excadrill, Azumarill, Mega Charizard X, a bunch of stuff, Hippowdon, and I didn't do super well with the team. I think I went 3-2 while I had it, which, you know, was decent, but we didn't make playoffs. And then Season 2, we teamed up. We had a team of 2. It wasn't multi-battles, though. It was just regular singles, but we had 2 coaches per team. I was with Coach Heyyy, who you might remember from the UPL, and we actually went on to win the championship. We went 7-2. We had a really good team with Mega Scizor, Nihilego, Darmanitan, Suicune, Tornadus Eye, Shaman, Gardevoir, Minior, Bronzong, Regice, and Hitmonlee. I think that's all of them. I'm not sure. But we went 7-2 in the regular season, and then we won our first playoff match, and then we won in the championship against the undefeated Sundance Kids, which was really awesome. And now we're in Season 3. So we just had the draft. Well, we didn't just have the draft. It was actually about 2 weeks ago by the time I'm recording this. Maybe a week ago. But yeah, we just had the draft. I got the first overall pick, which was really cool. I won an off-season tournament between Seasons 1 and 2, and that gave me the first overall pick for Season 3, which is pretty cool. And we're not the Chicago Bee-Barrels anymore. We're going to be the Edmonton Coilers, which I think is a really cool new team branding name. I made that logo all by myself. I think that's pretty cool, because usually I'm pretty bad at making logos, but this one looks really nice, in my opinion. So we're the Edmonton Coilers, like the Oilers from hockey, but we're the Coilers, because Thagard is our, mascot, and it learns to move Coil. Anyways, yeah, I think it's a really cool team name, and hopefully we can do well with it. So basically, this league is a GBA-style league. If you don't know what that means, it's a tier system, so there's tiers 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and tier 1 are like your really good Pokemon. They cost 180 free points. Tier 2 are like your, good Pokemon. They're 120 free points. Tier 3 are your average Pokemon that are 100 points. Tier 4 are like, okay, you can find them in good scenarios, but not always like great Pokemon. And those are 60 free points. And Tier 5 are 40 free points, which aren't the greatest Pokemon in the world, but they can do really well in certain scenarios. And then you're forced to pick a Mega, which I hate because I don't really like many Megas. There's only a few Megas that I like. So I didn't really like the fact that we had to pick a Mega, but that's the GBA style format. And some Megas will give you more free points, and some will give you none at all. So usually I like to pick ones that give me more free points. So basically, you're required to pick a tier 1, a tier 2, 2 tier 3s, a tier 4, a tier 5, and then a Mega, and then you get 400 free points, and you use your points to get your next 4 Pokemon, and you'll have a roster of 11. So that's really cool. And yeah, basically I had the first overall pick, so I knew I wanted something different and something that I could build a draft around. So my first overall pick is actually going to be Blacephalon. Alright, so like I said, my first pick is Blacephalon. I'm going to nickname it Babam, first member of the Edmonton Coilers. I've actually been the Edmonton Coilers in a different league, and we've had a pretty good season so far. We're in the playoffs right now, and I only lost 1 game in the regular season. Technically, I lost 3, but 2 of them I won because of hacks, so that happened. But yeah, the Edmonton Coilers are a great team, but Blacephalon is a really cool Pokemon. It's very new, and I'm not sure if it's really worth the first overall pick because I haven't seen anybody use it. I drafted this before the GBA started, and I haven't watched any league matches before the GBA that I saw Blacephalon in, and so I saw Gym Leader Geo for the first time use Blacephalon in week 1 of the GBA, but I drafted this thing. I think it's really cool. I think week 1 actually might have started before I drafted this, but I had said I was going to draft this for a long time. 151 special attack is really nice, and 107 speed tier allows me to, you know, outspeed a lot of things like the base 100 mythicals, and a lot of Pokemon are base 100, so I can outspeed some threatening things like Garchomp, which I think is 102. I can outspeed Nihilego, which is kind of cool if I run Hidden Power Ground or something along those lines. I can also outspeed, I believe we speed tie with Infernape, but I can outspeed, what's that 105 Pokemon? I can't remember. There's one that's at 105 that could threaten us, but a lot of things that were faster than them, but there's a lot of things that are faster than us. Kartana, I believe, hits 108. I think Alolan Ninetales hits 108 or 109 maybe. Galvantula hits 109. A bunch of things like Gengar outspeeds us, stuff like that. Sneasel, Weavile, a lot of things that pressure us. But anyways, 151 special attack's really nice. 127 can be run physical as well, and with the ability Beast Boost, the Scarfer can be really nice. If I put a Scarf on this, I get a kill, boom, now I've got a Beast Boost and special attack, and I'm +1 speed, so we're gonna rip through an entire team. Notable moves, I put Fire Blast, Flamethrower, Shadow Ball, Psychic, Flame Charge, Pain Split, Trick, Mind Blown, Dark Pulse, and Calm Mind. It does get a few other moves that could be kind of great. I don't know, Pain Split's not great. I probably won't run it on it at all. I think it maybe gets Knockoff, but I'm not sure on that. I know it gets Psyshock for sure, and there's a few other coverage moves on there that I probably won't run, and also, you know, hidden powers galore. So Blacephalon is a pretty decent Pokemon, and hopefully we can get some kills with it this season. I'm looking to probably get about 10 kills. We're in a 12-week season, and I don't know if it's going to be my main kill leader, but I want at least a kill per game that I bring it to. So yeah, I think Blacephalon can do that. Next Pokemon I drafted was my tier 2. Blacephalon was my tier 1, and I wanted to get tier 2 because there was 22 people in this draft, and tier 2s go really quickly. If you guys don't know this, tier 2 is probably the smallest tier group. Maybe tier 1 is, but I think tier 2 has a few less than tier 1, and so they go really quickly. And probably the best things that are in tier 2 are bulky waters like Toxapex, Slowbro, what else is in tier 2? Suicune, a bunch of bulky waters, and then dragons. And so Goodra is sometimes in tier 2, sometimes tier 3, but Goodra, you'll see, what else is a dragon in tier 2? Can't think of any off the top of my head. I guess a lot of dragons are tier 1 because like the Lotties and stuff like that. But dragons often go early, and I could not have passed up Heyyy. Like I said, there was 22 people in the draft. I drafted first overall, so I got the first overall pick. 21 more picks passed, and then it came back down for 21 more picks. So this is actually the 44th pick of the draft, and I went with Hydreigon. We're going to be nicknaming it Draka. Dark Dragon is really nice because it covers all of Blacephalon's weaknesses: water, ground, Dark, and Ghost. It covers all of those, which is really cool. Base 98 speed allows me to outspeed some really nice stuff like Darmanitan, and it could be a really good Scarfer as well. It outspeeds Haxorus and a couple other things, and can be run mainly special, but can also be run physical with U-Turn, Superpower, and then I guess Dragon Claw. I think it learns Dragon Claw. Maybe not. It doesn't look like it has claws, but who knows? A lot of Pokemon learn moves that they didn't learn, but I don't know. 92 HP gives us some decent bulk with 90s on the defenses, and like I said, you guys can see those notable moves down below. Obviously Stab, and then U-Turn, Defog, Roost, which makes it a really good Pokemon if you run like a, I guess kind of like, I would call it a Stall Breaker set with like Roost, Defog, U-Turn, and Taunt. Could be kind of cool. I think this thing was Taunt. But yeah, good coverage as well with Earth Power, Surf, Fire Blast, also Flash Cannon. But anyways, yeah, that's our Hydreigon. Next Pokemon I picked, I also picked another tier 2 because I really wanted to have a good grass type to take ground hits, and I also wanted a regenerator, and Tangrowth is perfect for that. You don't know how many times Tangrowth has been on my draft plan and been sniped right before me, and I was not going to let that happen. Tangrowth is one of the best Pokemon in my opinion in the draft league. It's so hard to break down on the physical side, and it can do a lot of damage as well, and it can be run with Assault Vest, which makes it bulky on the special side. Well, not super bulky, but somewhat bulky. And Regenerator makes it so difficult to kill. We're going to be nicknaming it Ambush. We're going to be using the shiny Tangrowth because I think it looks slightly better than the blue one. And then Knockoff, really nice. Leech Seed could be really cool. And then some decent coverage with Sludge Bomb, Earthquake, and a few other things. But yeah, I think Tangrowth is really cool. Now, at this point in the draft, I started to develop a draft plan. I didn't have one originally. I just kind of went with Pokemon that I kind of wanted and never got to use before, which are the 3 first picks that I did. And from this point, I wanted to start creating a draft plan, and I chose the wrong draft plan. I end up with a really unconventional team, as you guys will see, and it started with these 2 picks because they're on a wheel pick. I went with Electros. It's a tier 4, so I kind of dove in the tier 4 really early, but I wasn't sure if it was going to make it back to me. It gives me another Levitate Pokemon, which is really cool, but it also gives me something I didn't have before, which is Special Bulk, because primarily you run Assault Vest on Electros, but you can run a couple of other things. Also, something to mention is the base 50 speed, super slow, which, well, not super slow, but really slow, that it gets outsped by a lot of things. It can take hits, and it can knock off items, which is cool, but no reliable recovery, like Giga Drain it gets, but that's not really reliable recovery. But pretty decent stats around the board besides its speed, with base 80s on the defense and 85 in HP. It's pretty bulky, and we are going to be nicknaming it Nagini and using the Shiny Electros, because I think Shiny Electros looks really awesome. Next Pokemon I drafted, though, I needed an Ice Resist, and I needed a Rapid Spinner. Now, when I say that, most of you are probably going Most of you are probably going to think about Blastoise or Mega Blastoise, because it's a really good Ice Resist, it's a Water type, which I don't have on my team yet, and it's a good Rapid Spinner. And I was thinking Mega Blastoise, and I was like, alright, I'm going to pick Mega Blastoise. And then I got the idea, what if I make a Sun team? Because I've seen a lot of people using Sun teams recently. A-Drive has one in, I believe, the APA. And then the Sundance Kids in Season 2 of PSBL had one, and I was just like, I want a Sun team. I've never used Weather before. I've used Rain once, but I didn't even draft Rain. I just brought it to a match, and it was decent because I had Kingdra. So I guess I've used Rain before, but never really using a Weather team. And so I wanted to start drafting a Sun team, so I went with Torkoal. Oh, no, wrong way. There we go. I went with Torkoal, which I don't think is the best pick for me as far as a draft goes, because now I have a base 20 speed, and you'll see my speed tiers are all terrible after this. Stealth Rock's Rapid Spin, Lava Plume, Solar Beam could be kind of cool to check water types, but also Clear Smog to prevent setup, because Torkoal is easily set up on, with really good physical defense. So we're going to be playing a lot of bulky offense, I guess, but Torkoal's not really offensive, but it does have decent stats. Like 85 special attack is nothing to sneeze at, so I think we can do a lot of work with Raphael, and it's going to be shiny as well, which we've had 3 shinies in a row, and I think the next one is shiny as well. So I made a draft plan at this point, and it involved a Pokemon, which I won't say yet because it's kind of a surprise and it's at the end, but it involved a Pokemon that is slow, and my team is starting to look slow. So my next pick is Reuniclus. Now, it actually shows that it has a typo on its name, but whatever, I'm not going to fix that. Now, Reuniclus, it's a weird Pokemon, and I don't know if I like it yet. It adds to the Regenerator core, which is really cool, because now I have 2 Pokemon with Regenerator. It has the ability to set up Trick Room, which my team is really slow and needs Trick Room. And it has really good setup options with Calm Mind and Acid Armor, so basically I can't die unless I get crit. And, like, Reuniclus is a pretty good Pokemon if you use it offensively. But I want to use it defensively on this team as a Trick Room setter, and I'm not sure if it's going to be good for that. I wanted to pick Slowbro here because I felt like Slowbro was better, but Slowbro was taken in the 5th round after I picked Torkoal. So it didn't make it back to me for the 6th round, and Slowking was there in Tier 3, and I really was thinking about Slowking, but if you guys don't know the Pokemaster Mike, he also is in the league, and we kind of talked about it, and we decided to go with Reuniclus instead, because Reuniclus offers a better offensive Pokemon, which my team is really lacking at this point, besides Blacephalon and Hydreigon. So it does offer offensive Pokemon with decent bulk, instead of having a Pokemon that is setup fodder and easily... Well, I guess Slowking's not really setup fodder because it learns Dragon Tail, but, you know, a Pokemon that is easily taken advantage of as a Trick Room setter and not as offensive. So Reuniclus is a decent pick. I'm going to be naming it Chloroblast. It's shiny. That's 4 shinies in a row. I only think there's 1 more after this. But now that I'm going a Trick Room route and a Sun route, I wanted some Trick Room abusers. So I'm going to go with Machamp. Because I felt like Machamp was really good. As a Pokemon that is something really hard to prep for, Machamp has to be like on a top 10 list. I have to say. There are very little switch-ins to a lot of Pokemon. When you think about Darmanitan Flare Blitz, there are very little switch-ins to that. When you think about, I guess, like a Guts-boosted Drain Punch from a Conkeldurr, like that is hard to switch into. Machamp is really similar to that, and every time I've gone up against a Machamp, it has taken out at least one of my Pokemon, and it's just such a great Pokemon. It's tier 4 in this league, and I immediately took advantage of that, because base 130 attack with Guts or with No Guard just makes this Pokemon a tier 2 in my opinion, and especially under Trick Room, I can sit there and I can get off a Guts boosted close combat and I will destroy anything that's not ghost type. Like, it is so good. And then having priority bullet punch knockoff is really nice as well. And then, not to mention, I can run a banded no guard set and run dynamic punch, which is a very powerful move, and destroy anything in my way. Like, Machamp is so good, and I'm gonna try to put in a lot of work with it this season. I think I can honestly get, in a 12-week season, or actually we do a 13-week season, I think I can get 20 kills with this. And I'm gonna do my best to make Machamp one of the kill leaders, because it is a great Pokemon, and I really think I can use it well. With Priority Bullet Punch, being able to take care of Pokemon like Diancie is amazing, because usually you wouldn't expect a fighting type to do that. But it can, and that's awesome. Like Alola Ninetales, stuff like that. Bullet Punch Okos, and that's awesome. Anyways, moving on. I picked Kecleon next. I needed another Trick Room setter, and I hadn't picked a Tier 5 yet. And looking at Tier 5, originally I wanted Aromatisse. And I was planning Aromatisse 100%, and then I didn't get Aromatisse. It got sniped in round 4, or round like 5, I think it was. So like I wasn't even close to getting it. It might have been round 6, but I wasn't even close to getting Aromatisse. So I was like, okay, I'm not getting Aromatisse. What's a good Trick Room setter in Tier 4? Because I still wanted to get, well, I guess I was looking at Tier 4 and 5. And Diancie was there, and I was like, oh, I want to pick regular Diancie. I think that's a good Trick Room setter. And then, like, 5 picks before me, Diancie got picked, and I'm like, oh my goodness, there's, like, no Trick Room setters left. And I found out Kecleon learned it, so I was really happy with that. And Kecleon's a good Pokemon. I've had it before, and I've never really used it to its full potential. I had it in UPL Season 1, and it just never was able to do what I wanted it to do in matchups. So I only brought it to, like, 1 or 2 matches, and it never did anything, and I dropped it at the end of the season for Raichu. And I just want to give this Pokemon a chance, and I think it can be really good. On the special side, it's really nice. 120 defense, and, you know, with decent bulk, it's not super bulky, but the ability to pressure things with priority is also really nice with Shadow Sneak and Sucker Punch. And people really have to play mind games with this, because if I go for a Shadow Sneak on their close combat, now they can't hit me. And now I'm slower anyways, so now they have to switch up their moves, and I might go for the Sucker Punch on their knockoff, or something along those lines, and all of a sudden it's playing mind games, and they can't hit my Kecleon for super effective damage. Like, that's awesome. Drain Punch allows me to get some decent recovery, but if I want to run a recover move, it does actually learn Recover, which is really cool, and also, like I said, it does get access to Trick Room and Stealth Rocks as well. So it's a really nice Pokemon with a lot of cool moves. It does get all the elemental punches as well, with Fire Punch, Ice Punch, and Thunder Punch. I think it learns all of them. But yeah, with Protein, it makes everything stab, and so you take like a knockoff, and now it's boosted by stab, so it's base 60. I think knockoff's base 60. So now it's base, what is that, base 80 or base 75, and then you add on to that 90 attack already, and it's just great. Like, Kecleon's a good Pokemon. If I can find the right matchups for it, it's going to put in the work, and I'm hoping that it's a decent Trick Room setter as well, because people are going to be expecting other things besides Trick Room. Next Pokemon I drafted is Alomomola, finishing off my Water, Fire, Grass core. I'll spoil it for you guys right now. I did not finish a Fairy Dragon Steel core. I did not pick a Steel type, so that is unfortunate. And I really want a Steel type, so I'm thinking about dropping a Pokemon, but I'll let you guys know at the end of the draft analysis what I'm going to do, or week 1 or something like that. But 165 base HP is really nice, and 80 defense makes it a really good physical wall. Like, my team is super defensive, if you guys couldn't tell. Everything on it is bulky besides Blacephalon, and it's really nice to have that, but it's also like, oh, well, now I don't have too much offense. But one thing that's really nice about Alomomola is it does learn some really cool moves. Being able to Cleric up my team with Wish is awesome, but it also learns Mirror Coat, which if you guys don't know what that does, Mirror Coat, I think Mirror Coat's the one that bounces back special attack damage. I could be wrong. Maybe Mirror Coat's the one that bounces back like Stealth Rocks and stuff, but it learns both of them, whatever it is. I'm trying to remember what the name of the other move is called, but I can't think of it off the top of my head. Alright, I was right. Mirror Coat is the move that bounces back special attack. Well, actually, it times 2, I think, or maybe times 1.5. But basically, let's say I'm in against Tapu Fini, and it goes for Nature's Madness. Boom! Mirror Coat, take that, you're dead. It bounces that back and does 100% Tapu Fini, which is amazing. So Alomomola is a really good Pokemon. I'm nicknaming it Pearl after Pearl Shine, who, if you're watching this, hello, Pearl. Pearl is in the UPL as a replacement coach, I think. And he's also in the SML. and I believe he's now a replacement coach in the PSBL, so he's in a lot of leagues, but he has used Alamomola, I can't say his name that well, Alamomola really well, and I believe the SML, and yeah, it's just a great Pokemon for him, and so I saw it, and I was like, Pearl's a great nickname for it, and also, I guess Pearl's a good nickname because it references Pearl as well. Anyways, we're moving on to the best pick of the draft. I gotta tell you guys, I was thinking about picking this Pokemon after, I think, round 5 or round 4, like on that wheel pick. And at first it was a joke, and then I was like, well, it could happen. But then I saw Mega Absol, and I was like, oh, well, Mega Absol really makes this team good. And I think at this point, it was on the last round that I wanted Weavile. And so, like, I didn't get Weavile, and so I had to go with Kecleon and Alomomola on that wheel, because Weavile got picked literally right before me. And so I was like, Mega Absol looks really nice because it gives me that speed tier that I'm missing with the 115 speed. Or maybe he's 110. I think it's 115, though. And it gives me a really high speed tier, and it gives me a Pursuit Trapper, and it gives me a mixed attacker, and it gives me offense, and I'm like, I really want Mega Absol, and then I got right to the pick, and people started disrespecting the camel. I'm gonna tell you, I really wanted to pick this Pokemon because people started saying that Mega Camerupt was terrible, that Mega Camerupt is not a great Pokemon, that it's just gonna die to Hidden Power Waters, and I'm like, you know what? There's too much disrespect for Mega Camerupt, and I need to teach some people some lessons, so I'm calling some people out. Hoobie, you're gonna get 6-0'd by Mega Camerupt. I don't know who else was saying anything because Hoobie is just so loud and obnoxious that I am going to have to destroy him with this Mega Pokemon. Now, Mega Camerupt, he does have a 4 times weakness to water, but we have Sun. Now it's a 2 times weakness to water. We have Trick Room on our team. Now it's faster than everything. It's got base 145 special attack. You show me a switch in to an Eruption under Trick Room with base 145 special attack at 100 health. Show me what the switch in is at 100% health. There are none. Mega Camerupt is going to take some lives, and people are going to have to pay for it. And they should not have insulted this monster at the beginning of the season, because it's going to get a ton of kills this season. It's going to win some games, and people are going to have to watch out. It gives me another Stealth Rock setter, which now adds 3 to the team. And yeah, so going back on a more serious note, this team is really trash. I'm not gonna lie, it's the worst team I've ever drafted. I wanted something that could make this team better and could win games on its own. So looking at tier 1, I'm looking and everything's gone. There's Excadrill, Excadrill's really good, but it didn't fit the team. There was Excadrill left, there was, I believe, Buzzwole left, the Thundurus, both of them were left, and that might have been it. There was a few others, but nothing really stood out to me, and I started to think back to Season 1, where I had one of the best Pokemon I can think of for Draft League, and that is my boy, Azumarill. Percy is a good Pokemon. It's not spectacular, but it can win games on its own. With huge power Belly Drum, I can get some Aqua Jets off and destroy a team, which is amazing. It's not as good as Linoon when it comes to belly drumming, I'll be honest, because Linoon is a great belly drummer, but it's got the stats to back it up, and now with Normalium Z belly drum, it makes it really good, and also with just access to Z moves, nothing wants to switch into a Farium Z from this thing, and just, it has a good moveset. I didn't put Power Punch on there, but Power Punch can be a really good move as well, just to boost my attack by 1, and then I get a, +1 Z move off. That could be really cool, but mainly I'm going to be running like a Z move on this, or a band, or something like that. It's a good switch in the knockoff as well, which my team didn't really have previously. And not to mention, if you guys are watching Devil or Mike or one of you guys, Sap Sipper Azumarill is pretty good. I was going up against it in, I think it was the OU game, might have been UU, and I had a Amoonguss on my team, and I thought it was going to be perfect to stop the Azumarill, so I clicked Spore, and it was Sap Sipper Specs, and went for Ice Beam and did 80%. So, yeah, Sap Sipper Azumarill. Who knew? But that's kind of like a joke because Devil brought Sap Sipper to one match with, like, Belly Drum. So that was weird. But yeah, that is my draft. That's the 11 Pokemon. They all look really happy in this picture, except some of them are overshadowing the other ones. Like, Tangrowth is slapping Hydreigon in the face, and Alomomola is, like, kissing Tangrowth on the cheek. I don't know what's going on. But this is a team. It's 11 Pokemon, and they're all decent Pokemon on their own, I don't know how they're going to do together. With a strong Regenerator core with a Alomomola, Tangrowth, and Reuniclus, it gives us a team that's really hard to break down. With Assault Vest users like Electros and Tangrowth as well, and Kecleon, it makes us really bulky against special attackers, but it also makes us susceptible to knockoffs. So that's why we have Hydreigon and Azumarill, who are really good Z-move users that can take knockoffs with their Z-moves. Or we also have Machamp, who's a fighting type, resist those, and already would have gotten the Flame Orb boost, and now is a switch into knockoff as well, because we don't need the Flame Orb anymore. We have Trick Room on the team with really good abusers, with Azumarill, a Bandit Azumarill in Trick Room, Mega Camerupt, or also Machamp. We have really good Scarfers on the team as well if we want to go speedy with Hydreigon and with Blacephalon, and we hit things on the physical side. On the special side, we take hits on the physical side and on the special side. So overall, it's a good team. The only thing it's really missing is a Steel type, and I'm thinking about maybe dropping Electros for a Steel type. It's not 100% that I'm going to do that yet, but I'm thinking about it. So anyways, that's going to be the Edmonton Coilers for Season 3 of the PSBL. Anyways, we're going up against Coach Mike week 1. We have a really strong division with Mike, Buff, Mandy, and her cousin Bryce. And it's a really tough division. They're all really good coaches. I'll leave all the YouTubers' coaches down below in the description. You can check them out. Buff, Mike, and Rockhands. Buff is the commissioner of the league. If you don't know who Mike is, make sure you go check him out. He's an awesome guy. And Rockhands just recently started up his YouTube channel, and he's got his draft analysis out for this league. They all do, so you can check out their drafts. And we'll be taking on Mike week 1. So hopefully we can take down Mike, because it's always a fun match when we play each other. But anyways, guys, that's going to do it for this draft analysis. I know I went over the time I was hoping to go, but I didn't go too much over. But anyways, hopefully you guys did all enjoy. I'm out for now. Peace!